All right, so this is your first semester project. We're going to answer the question, where is the math? Why am I learning this math and where is it in the real world? The first step is you guys need to pick a theme. And I want you to pick something you're very passionate about. Pick something that you would think about when you're not in school. Think about it that makes you relax. It's something that you wish you had more time to do. That's the type of theme that I want you to pick. Okay? Now, a better theme would be is if you picked a future career. For example, if you know you want to become an architect, you want to become a lawyer, a doctor, a nurse, a professional baseball player. That type of theme is really going to drive you in your project. Okay? Go ahead and your project paper, you're on page number 1. And I have a couple of roles. I want you to do. Partner A, you're going to read all of the odd steps, 1, 3, 5, 7. Partner B, you're going to read all of the even steps to your partner. And then when you're finished, you're going to answer these questions on the screen. Okay? So here are some commonly asked questions. Okay? So next Friday, you're just turning in a theme. That's it. You can pick any 10 words from what we've learned so far, what we will learn, or anything in geometry. Okay, if you're not sure of that, you can ask any math teacher. If you're picking a word that I will not or have not taught you, you have to be careful to make sure you really understand it. Okay? Raise your hand if you've done a capstone reflection before. Awesome. So you have taken advantage. You might list this when you're a senior going back to this project. 3-minute videos is what you're aiming for. We're going to talk in a second about what it means to be 5 words that have been identified and their significance. And make sure you're not going to have your name in the video. Okay? So let me talk about what it means to identify and find its significance. Okay? Identify is looking with a magnifying glass to find where it is. Okay? For example, all right, so we talked about how to identify in your topics. For example, we said food was the theme, and the vocabulary word was distance. We've identified it in using, say, a Yelp app, and it tells me the distance to the restaurant, and the significance is the travel time. Maybe I can't make it that far. Significance is going to be the highest order of thinking. It is very difficult. Okay? So you're going to say, Mr. Ng, just tell me the answer. And I'm going to say, no, that's your goal. That's where you're going to do that hard thinking. Okay? Step number 3, math accuracy. You can look at that cartoon in the top right. In math accuracy, okay, you need to be very clear about what you're talking about. For example, we talked about the baseball example. And if I said the words parallel, class, show me parallel with your hands. Okay? Parallel lines never intersect, right? You state that. You know it. And then you go to your baseball picture, and then you tell me, oh, those sidelines, those are parallel lines. Is that true, class? No. And I'll show you in a second how that's not really accurate. And that's what you'll be deducted points. You are turning in a video. Everyone say a video. You're not turning in a poster board. You're not turning out printed papers. You're not coming in front of class and presenting the project. The great thing about all of this is on my end, I press play. You know, I used to collect flash drives. My rooms were filled up with poster boards, and it's just a lot of stuff going on, right? But now I'm preparing you for the future. Everything's digital. Okay. Raise your hand if you edited a video before. Okay. Was the learning curve easy or hard? Pretty easy? Okay, some of you? Okay. You know, you're going to have jobs in 20 years, and your boss is going to ask you to do something, and you might say, I don't know how to do it. Does that mean you just lunch over and then quit and wait till Mr. Ng comes around and tells you the answer? No, it's not the real life. Real world is you do the problem solving, right? So I don't know what type of computer you have. I don't know what type of camera you have. I don't know what your work schedule looks like. But you're going to have to figure out a lot of things, including posting a video on YouTube. All right. Some of you guys already told me you already did a capstone reflection in your other classes. Okay, here's the great thing. You're working in pairs, and you're sharing this document. So you can write it together. So you only have one document, but you can both are contributing. Okay, and now you can say it's your capstone reflection. Okay. On your piece of paper, go ahead and copy this green box. I'm going to show you some student examples. Some examples I will point out what is the low part of the project. I will point out what are the mediums, the okay things, and I'll also point out the great things. And we'll also talk about your scoring rubric that's inside your packets. Have you ever been given a task or a project where you don't know what the outcome should look like, your product? So now I'm going to show you a bunch of examples. First thing you're going to do is you're going to go to my website, mrmathing.net. It reminds me I need to pay for the domain again. Class, where do you go next? So scroll down here, click on geometry. What's the next thing? What did you guys write down? Okay, there's a billion text on here, right? It's a lot. So you press Control F or Apple F, and you type in click here. And now it says that there are two of them, two words. And you just press Enter, and it's found it for you. It's highlighting every time that word says it, and it brings you to that location. Okay. So you click here to see if your project was accepted. Now these are the students of the 5 years past who've turned in projects. You get to see what projects look like. Granted that they did not make it private. Okay, so let's go to last year's. I'm going to click on a random project. They may have blocked it, or they may have allowed us to view it. Oh, private. So you may do the same thing. You might make it private and only share it with me. But if I click on your project and it says private, did I see your project? Is that a good thing? No. It will be very stressful for you.
Hello, today we will be showing you math terms in volleyball. The term corresponding is used when each player is corresponding to each other. This is important because another player from the other team gets the ball.
So maybe that student is trying to show us that corresponding is where the other player stands on the other side. So if this player is about to spike the ball, then the blocker can go up and try to block it as well. Okay. Now, what do you notice that's across the whole screen there? A waterwork, or the word filmora. Okay. You're going to have to do some problem solving and try to figure out editing where that's not preventing me from looking at your work. Okay. Here's a second thing. Class, are we seeing that student? Are we seeing pictures of them playing volleyball? No, we're not. We're probably looking at Google Images. Okay. I don't want to see Google Images. I want to see that you created this project. Let's click on another one. Now, I did make some annotations here, or marks. It says, I've highlighted these projects for a reason. So this is a great theme, great annotations marked up. So let's take a look at this. Class, was that easy to hear? No. So you have to be very careful. You're like, great, I went to the Warner Park Mall and I recorded my project. I'm done. And then you realize I can't hear you. Okay? So you need to be very careful about practicing using your cameras. Okay? As you can see, it's probably very difficult to hear the student. Let's see if we can hear what she says. She picked the word angle. Now, although we can't hear the student, I wanted to point out that they wrote on their video. Do you see that? Now I know that even though it was difficult to hear, at least I know they were talking about the angle at the top of the tree. Let me show you one more. I had about 100 projects last semester, and I only picked 5 that I consider the best. Let's see if they didn't block it.
This is a perpendicular, and the perpendicular is angle of 90 degrees to a given line. It's important and it makes the car accelerate. This is a rectangle, and
do you hear how the student says, this is the geometry definition? We see it on the video, and then he says, this is important. That's the significance part. Do you hear it? That's the harder part. Now, you might be saying to yourself, Mr. Ng, I don't want to stand in front of a class. I know what that was like as a student, and that's why we're doing videos. Isn't that easier? You're not staged, but you're not staged right. You may not be confident in your speaking skills, your English skills, but you can still practice that. And when you turn in your project, you can still make it blocked, right? So the only person that sees it is me. Okay? All right, let's talk about grades. This project is worth 10% of your grade. Okay? It is equivalent to 3 quizzes, or all of your homeworks, or 1.5 tests. I'm trying to get a way where you can actually show me geometry in a different way. Okay? Here are 2 examples of a grade. For example, pretend Marge and Homer received an A on the test, or A on the project. Okay? I pass out the paper, and then Marge and Homer sit down, and they have to talk about how to split up the points. Hey Marge, you came at the right time when we planned together. You showed up at my house when you said Saturday at 1 o'clock. Hey Homer, you turned in your part on time. Thanks for communicating and texting with me. Let's split the grade 50-50. A project, split up 118 points. They both get 59. They both get an A. Bart and Lisa, I grade their project, and they get a D, 80 points out of 120. They received 67%. Bart and Lisa talk like adults afterwards. They say, you know what? That was a D project, but Lisa's going to say, you know what? I did more work. I think I should get more points. Bart's being an adult, reflective. Hey, you know what? I didn't show up at your house on Friday afternoon. I didn't respond to your text. I didn't meet with you and Mr. Ng Thursday at lunchtime. You know what, Lisa? You did do all the work. They split up their 80 points, 60-20. Notice how a D project goes from now Lisa getting an A and Bart an F. Raise your hand if you've worked with someone who doesn't really work. Okay, you've all experienced it, right? The hard part is to have that adult conversation afterwards if you guys can split up the points even. Summon, you'll tell me it's delicious. Alright. You're going to pick your partner, and you're going to have a business deal. Okay? You're going to exchange contact information. Okay? And you need to choose wisely. Choosing your friend may not be the best business partner. You might have a lot of fun. You might know each other well, but you may not get work done. Okay? Now, if you have a conflict, I said if, actually I should change that to when. When you do have a conflict with your partner, don't come back to me in the day before the project's due and say, Mr. Ng, we are not doing well together. I quit. Okay? That has happened. Okay? I'm letting you know if you turn in a project by yourself, okay, you're going to be deducted 2 letter grades. So if you get an A on the project, the highest you can get is a C by yourself. You see, it's more important to me that you're learning to work with someone to create a product rather than the best product.